What's up, everyone? This is Christian Duke. You're watching Strength Addicts here on IG Live, brought to you courtesy of BlackstoneLabs.com, the holy grail of bodybuilding supplements. Guys, head on over to BlackstoneLabs.com. Use discount code STRENGTH20, save 20% off your purchase. Also, if you're looking to get involved in the fitness industry, there is no better way to do so than by applying to join the Blackstone Labs Legion. Do so today. Also, big thank you to our supporting sponsor, TitanMedicalCenter.com, for all your hormone replacement therapies, glutathione, injectable vitamins, and the new ECA Plus stack that everyone is talking about. Just concluded the interview with Scott Dykes, which is available at Strength Addicts on IGTV. Make sure to head on over to IGTV and check out that interview. You will absolutely love it. We talked for about 50 minutes. I suspect that the interview that is going to happen now with Larry Hill will probably be equally as long. So fortunately for me, I've got plenty of pre-work. What is this called? This is not pre-workout. This is actually an energy drink. So I got plenty energy drink to last me here for another riveting, awesome interview. And I want to let you guys know that tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at StrengthAddicts.com and all related social media platforms, we will have the Steve Weingarten interview from the Brick House Bodybuilding Gym here in Louisville, Kentucky. This gym is really a labor of love that Steve built from hand. He bought every piece of equipment, meticulously focusing on every little detail. Steve Weingarten to me is probably one of, if not the best contest prep coach in this region. Highly, highly underrated, I think. And so it's just going to be awesome to be in that facility and to do an in-person interview. And so that's going to drop at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to say what's up to K Lives Fit. I want to say hello to Austrian Powers. I saw Austrian Powers interview, I believe it was earlier today or last night. He's killing it with Gaspari. I want to say hello to Lind Sway, Purple Fit Lady in the house, Omni Muscle in the house, the beautiful Kim Fit-Ass Haynes in the house. Her very presence will make the interview amazing. So I told the man of the hour that I was going to be jumping on, but I told him I'd be a little late by a minute or two. So if Larry doesn't join us, hopefully the awesome Michelle Jackson will let him know that we have started and we're waiting for the guest of honor. Thank you very, very much. So a little bit about the Scott Dykes interview. I met Scott probably, like 3-4 years ago, and I met him with his then coach, Eli Coffey, and we did several interviews at Jeff and Angie Sherman shows, and also, thank you, Michelle, and also in Pittsburgh, where I had a beautiful backdrop. It was very, very cool, and he's just a really good guy. So if you guys don't know Scott, you go to Strength Addicts IGTV and check out that interview. I think you will walk away wanting to meet him because, he's been through a lot and he's a fighter. And I think that in the bodybuilding world, we really love the fighters more so than anybody else because, I've never competed, but I think that if you have a bunch of hurdles that life has put in your way and you have the perseverance and the mental focus to just see any obstacle, small or big, and you see it through and you get on the stage, it doesn't matter where you place. Granted, if you place well or you win, that's great. It doesn't matter where you place, it's that you get on the stage. I think you earn people's respect for that. So here's Larry. Let's bring Larry on. I am a big fan of Larry's. He may not know that, but I am. So let's see. There he is.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up? How are you?
Doing about as good as I'm going to be in prep right now, you know what I mean? 15 days out, so
So I've seen the YouTube video that you and Michelle Jackson did. I must confess, I've watched that video from beginning to end at least 20 times. I don't know why. I really don't know why. But I'm like writing articles for Iron Magazine, or I'm plotting my next series of interviews. Right. That video is on. So it's
really.
But I haven't downloaded it. So I've given you 20 actual hits instead of downloading and watching it a million times. So you just had an amazing, amazing, amazing outing here, outing showing. I don't know. These are all horse terminologies, but the ones that bodybuilders love to use. So let's just say you had a killer show 3 days ago or something like that. So we
Yep.
got to talk about that, but a million different things. I'm expecting it to go a while. So, but tell us about that show, because I've never seen you look as good as that show ever.
Well, as you know, and like a lot of people know, the work is done in the off season. So this past off season, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna treat it like a prep. I'm gonna be more productive. I'm gonna structure my routine and everything as if I was in prep, only in a caloric surplus. So I assessed my physique and I was like, okay, here are my weak points. This is what I need to work on. This is the game plan. Let's execute. So cheat meals and everything were structured this time around. And because of that, it yielded great benefits. When I came down for the Kentucky Muscle, the Derby, you could see that it was a considerable difference in the thickness of my legs. That was the big thing, is I wanted to bring some more quad sweep. I wanted to have my hamstrings be a little bit more extreme. Critique from the judges over the years is that my upper body is so extreme, and my legs were good, but they weren't extreme. So I wanted to kind of punctuate that. So I'm getting there. You know, I got a little bit of ways to go as far as leg separation, but it was definitely a night and day difference. But it was all credit due to actually taking time to buckle down in the off season, which is what the pros do, right? They're bodybuilders 24/7. So I had to do that myself, and because of that, like I said, I yielded great benefit from that. So.
Yeah, I mean, and I want to say what's up to the Ab Chick superstar in the house, and we got Road Rage 68, Mel the Bodyguard, Kid Play 3, lots of folks coming in. Thank you for that. But you know, when I interviewed you at the 2019 Junior USA's, I know that mentally you were going through. I feel like something that a lot of competitors go through, and it's like where the placings don't line up to all the work that you put in. It doesn't, and that's, I think, what makes physique-based sports probably the hardest sports that there are, because any other sport, you make a field goal, you get the point. You make a basket, you get the point. But in bodybuilding, you could actually look really, really good. But if you don't look really good to those judges, then you're not going to get anything. You're not going to win. You're not going to place well. And I think it could be discouraging, after putting in all that work to then want to do it again.
Yeah. So to speak to that, I mean, I don't mean to curse on your show, or whatever. But I look like
do whatever
shit.
You want. I mean, I don't care.
The reason why I look like shit was because my cortisol levels, which is a term that I learned back then. Because what had happened was, but really, the night before it was just a cluster, and then I had to end up driving all the way down from Indiana to South Carolina unexpectedly, and having all these stresses will make you retain water. Your cortisol levels will raise, you will retain water. So in my mind, at that point in time, I'm doing the same exact things I did 2 or 3 weeks earlier for the Kentucky Muscle. Why do I not look the same, right? So that was a lesson learned. Preparation in this field is everything. Either you prepare to succeed, you prepare to fail. So it's more than just inside the gym and eating. You need to make sure logistically everything is good before you embark on, traveling when you're doing bodybuilding. Because when you add the travel element to bodybuilding and being competitive, it's a whole nother ball game, right? Mm-hmm. So you need to make sure you have your ducks in the row, and I didn't. So it was my fault, right? I take full responsibility in that I didn't bring my best, and because of that, it showed on stage, and I got the placing that I deserved. So I learned from that, and this time going forward, all this was already organized way before I even stepped on stage at the Kentucky Muscle. So it's going to be a completely different outcome this time around at Junior USA's.
But I think maybe, like, if you don't mind, like, maybe like go a little deeper because I think that, like, have you always been this way? Like, because I mean, I think it's hard. I think what you just said is hard for a lot of people to ever, like, articulate, like, it's my fault. I got the placing I did because I looked the way that I did. I've got to do this, and this to make it better. A lot of people, that's like an epiphany that a lot of people have, like in their middle age. You know what I mean? Like after like a whole life lived, looking back. Like, so have you always been able to just like take a step back, look at the big picture, and see what needs to be done, and then like go to it, or like?
Absolutely not. Every failed relationship was their fault. Every mark I got in school that wasn't to my favor was the teacher's fault. Like, I'm no different. That was a big thing I had to learn. I try to be a better version of myself every day. And something happened in my life not too long ago. Well, it was my divorce, 3 years to be exact. And it changed my whole trajectory on how I think. And it really made me, every time I get up, I look in the mirror and I ask myself, am I proud of the man that I'm just staring back at me? And if the answer is no, then what am I doing to actively change that? Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to be honest with yourself and honest with your faults, right? That's the first thing you have to do to be able to be better at anything in life. So that's exactly what I did, because I'll be honest with you. When I did that poorly at Junior USA's, I had a chip on my shoulder. I blamed everybody else, judges and everything except for me, right? But it wasn't until I took accountability and responsibility for myself that I started getting better, right? I started getting better as a person, as a father, as a bodybuilder, everything, right? So to answer your question directly, no, this is new for me. The past 2 years of my life, I've really been self-critical, but it's so I can be the best version of myself, so I can be the change that I want to ultimately see. Not in just myself, but other people, because you see my YouTube channel and my podcast, I aim to try to inspire people and to give as much knowledge as possible, because I feel like it's the reason why we're here as people, is to be, you have knowledge for one reason, that's to pass it along. So it starts with you, and it starts with looking in the person in the mirror and being honest with yourself to be able to say, hey, I need to be better. I need to do better. How do I go about doing that?
For sure. And I saw Chauncey come in here, the shredder, and it got me thinking about posing. And, you know, he's an amazing poser. Kevin Johnson, an amazing poser. And you are an amazing poser. So I'm curious, like, when it comes to posing on stage, especially classic physique. I mean, classic physique is basically founded on the theory of looking the way the classic guys did, posing the way the classic guys did. Mm-hmm. And so I know that you have music in your background, you have art in your background. So does any of that play into your posing? Like, what do you? I'm not trying to be like philosophical, but at the same time, you know, it isn't just showing muscle. I think it's a lot more than that. I think anybody that thinks it's just that, it really doesn't understand the sport. So you know, like, I'm putting my judgment out there. But what do you put into your posing? Like, what is it to you?
To me, it's about presentation, right? I mean, we'll take example. If you're trying to get a business loan from a bank, you might have this elaborate business plan. It might be a groundbreaking, great idea. But if you can't present it to the bank properly, they're not going to give you that loan, right? Your physique is no different. I've seen a lot of people with amazing physiques, but they can't present it properly. Therefore, it doesn't translate on stage. Therefore, they don't get the placing that they want or that they think they deserve, because you have to be able to present your physique. And me personally, I grew up in the 90s watching Sean Ray, Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levrone. All these bodybuilders would spend hours, Melvin Anthony, like perfecting their craft. They considered themselves to be artists. It was statuesque the way that they would pose. And that's what initially enticed me, because it was just beautiful. It wasn't just that their physique was amazing, but the way they presented their physique was amazing. So that's what caused me to fall in love with bodybuilding, because I viewed it as an art. It wasn't just a bunch of mindless meatheads throwing around weight. There was a finesse to it. You know what I mean? And Absolutely. That's what ultimately made me fall in love with it. So I still, you know, I look really young, but I'm older than what I look. So I still take that from back then and I try to apply it to, you know, today. So.
You know, and two words that you said, and God bless you if you're younger than you look. That's great. I look like I'm 150. But the thing is, though, I used two words that I think are great. You used finesse and you used beautiful. How many bodybuilders are going to use words like that? And the thing is that, you know, I think that you tear down a lot of like generalizations I think that people have about bodybuilders, you know, with your music and your art and your content creation. I mean, you know, you're not talking about, like, you know, 20 ways to cut up a sweet potato. I mean, some of these videos that you put out on Facebook, especially, you're talking about relationships, but not even in a general context. You're talking about your relationships. And so a lot of people just cannot open up like that. They cannot allow, you know, because when you open up, you're actually inviting the world in. You do it really well. A lot of people can't. And if they do, it's a bunch of bullshit. It's not what they're actually feeling or going through. So you do that really well. The only thing that I think is a little disheartening about social media the way that it is now is, man, you just got to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Because I remember when I got started in social media, you know, you could blow your nose and get 10,000 views. And now YouTube makes it practically impossible to get views.
Yeah.
Facebook
Yeah.
does. They do all this trickery because they
100%.
want you to buy the reach. It's not about telling them. They want you to buy it because they want to make money. But yet you just keep doing it. And I think that's great. So I think it's great that you open up. I think it's great that you keep doing it.
Yeah, one of my biggest things with social media is I even went a step further and became a digital marketing specialist. I got my certification, Google Ads, SEO, AdWords, all
Nice.
that. My problem was consistency, right? Because I have decent content, right? It's just a matter
Very
of
decent.
consistency and putting it out there. But one of the things I wanted to do with my podcast, just specifically my podcast, was I wanted to show people that, yo, we're real people. Like, we have marriages, we have some regular jobs, like, because that was people's thing, right? Is that they don't see us as normal. They see us as mechanical, calculating. They see us as, oh, well, he has all the time in the world just to go to the gym. And I wanted to bring a real life element. So you can kind of get a day in the life. That's the reason why me and Michelle, when we're doing our thing or whatever, this is how we talk. This is how we are. I'm giving you my life. I'm giving you humility because I am human and I do stupid things. And I still do crave cake, ice cream, and gummy bears and all this stuff. So I wanted to show that side of my guests too that I have on my platform, because we're all just regular people who happen to be bodybuilders. Bodybuilders aren't necessarily who we are, just who we are. It's what we do. So, you know, I wanted to give that perspective by having this podcast. And then the vlogs were just kind of where the podcast was an extension of the vlogs to show my life and to be 110% transparent, which is what my brand stands for, Transcend Your Kingdom, because I feel as though I'm giving you all, you know, my flaws, my everything, because if I can help one person out there have some type of perspective of the things I messed up so they don't have to do that, I'm transcending my kingdom. And that's how my brand was born. So I'll put myself on the fire to be able to help other people through my actions. And just by me being completely transparent, you know, it wasn't easy at first, right? It's pretty hard to look at a camera of people on the other side and say that, yeah, I effed up. I did this. Like, I messed this up. I did this. But, you know, at the end of the day, I know that by the feedback that I've received, it's actually helping people. So I'm going to continue to do that.
Absolutely. And I think too that, you know, the reality that some people portray is completely fake. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
fast cars, a lot of money, like success with whoever they're into, whatever. But it's rare to see somebody share some of the pitfalls, you know, some of the failures, some of the shortcomings. People don't really share that. If they do, they might say, "Oh, well, that's not real." But the thing is, like, they're looking also. They're looking for you, any inconsistency, anything that doesn't add up. If you said I love Tuesdays, and then 3 months from now you say I love Wednesdays, they're all, you know. So it's like, it's kind of like a weird game. But I think that ultimately, when it's all said and done, in the game of life, I think people really respect realness. I really do. And so I think what you're doing, like, that's why I think it's really a test in tenacity. It's just really a test in consistency, as you pointed out, because it is hard. It was so much easier 5, 10 years ago, even 3 years ago, but it's harder. And it's because you're in bodybuilding as well. I mean, we could talk conspiracy theories, but I feel like certain social media platforms aren't really all that bodybuilder friendly because of the misconceptions of what bodybuilding is and what it entails. They don't understand it. So I don't know. I just think if you were doing a cooking channel, or you were doing a channel about perfecting a golf swing, you would probably have 10 times more views than what you have now.
Sure.
But you just got to keep pushing. It's really what
Sure.
it is.
And I am going to put content out, like, as far as how-to videos and everything like that. It's just I have a tendency to spread myself too thin because I'm a man of many talents. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Now I'm starting to understand that I need to have a calendar and start planning on the topics, and because I do aim to give as much knowledge as possible. I know there's people out there who are eating this bland ass clean food, and they think that that's what they have to eat, and they have to suffer to that degree. And I've been in the game so long, I know how to make all that food taste amazing. I have so many different, I have over 100 recipes. It's just, again, now I'm not working my regular job anymore. Thank God. So now I have more time to put my energy towards this, to make bodybuilding a business. And I actually want to make a video about making bodybuilding a business, because it's changed over the years from, turning pro and you have a 6-figure contract waiting on you. Like, those days were over. You have to go about it a different way nowadays, so.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, like I love Muscle Development. I had a show with them like 3 years ago. But back in the day, like when the magazines were big, some of the competitors, all the competitors were on contract. They would get $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month in the magazine. Some months they didn't even shoot. Some months they were being paid just so they wouldn't go shoot with a Flex or a Muscle Mag. But those days are long over. And then if you look at the supplement contracts today and you compare them to like 2005 when Muscle Tech and BSN were running the show, they're a lot less. They're a lot less, and they expect you to do a lot more. So the whole industry is changing. The whole concept of what a sponsored athlete is like totally warped, because you've got, quote unquote sponsored athletes that don't get free product, don't get money, don't get anything. So like, how are you exactly sponsored? You know what I mean? So
right.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But I think in your division though, classic physique, I think the classic physique is very marketable. I think some bodybuilding has gone a little bit too far for a lot of mainstream companies. But I think classic is just perfect. Men's physique and classic is just perfect. So with this big win that you had, of course, the question is going to be, what other shows you want to do? What's your future going to look like? I don't know if there was press at the show or not, but that's certainly a question that any interviewer would ask somebody that did as well as you did. What's next? And the danger there is committing to something prematurely and not being able to do it. So I know you know that, but what is next that you can reveal?
So going into this, I already had my whole year laid out, right? So my mission was Junior USAs, but I had to requalify, because if you win top 5, you qualify for a year. If you win an overall, you qualify for 2 years. So it's time for me to requalify because last year got washed out because of COVID. So I was like, okay, well, let's do it in Louisville. It was close. Let me requalify. Obviously, I wanted to win an overall because, in my opinion, if you can't, win an overall show, then you shouldn't really be doing nationals, in my opinion. So this was my second overall win, and I was like, okay, cool. Check that off. Now my main emphasis, and I have a series coming up. It's going to be called Road to the Pros on my YouTube channel. Where I'm going to be documenting. I even have a photographer that I hired to be on the team to document me at Junior USAs, and I'm going to be vlogging myself leading up to Junior USAs, because that is the main emphasis and focus of 2021 for me, was to peak perfectly and nail Junior USAs, because I'm not getting any younger in this sport, and I want to make a business out of this. So now I need to really capitalize off of this year. So I'm putting everything into it. So the plan always has been Junior USAs as far as this year is concerned. After that, I'm going to take about at least a year off to really, really, really put on some quality muscle so I can be competitive in the pro ranks.
Definitely. Who's the photographer? I don't know if you are at liberty to share, but
here, shout out, go to Jim John, at Jim John on IG. Hit him up. He does amazing work.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. He shot Jimmy Hornbeck's seminar at the factory recently, and I saw the videos. Man, that's freaking epic. I mean, really, really good. The videography is great. The soundtrack you laid under it, it's just fantastic. Very, very, very good. Very, very good. I'm excited to see this project that you have. I also think it was a hell of a mic drop there, Larry. With if you can't win an overall, you should. But I mean, it's a heck of a mic drop, but it might also be true. I mean, you're going to the national stage, you're going for the pro card that will eventually potentially get you to Mr. Olympia. So, I mean, maybe what you're saying has a hell of truth to it,
It depends on what your goals are, right? If this is a bucket list thing, by all means, if you want to say you can step on a national stage and you did it, absolutely, go for the gusto. Me personally, I'm not just trying to get a trophy. I'm trying to requalify nationals pro. Therefore, if I can't be competitive at the local level, then why am I gonna try to be competitive at nationals? This doesn't make sense to me, because my goal is ultimately to become a pro and be a competitive one at that. So if I can't even seal a local level show, then I need to go back to the drawing board and readdress some things. You know what I mean? So that's just my personal philosophy. So it's not, if you just want to check something off a bucket list, whatever, go ahead and do your thing. But that's just for me.
I know, and I, you know, as a reporter, not a competitor, one day I'd like to compete, but never on your level. But just I would be a bucket list. But I think it goes back to what you're saying. It is all about goals. You know, you're in this for the pro card. You're in this for the what's up, Scott? Scott Dykes, my previous interview guest, is on. But you're
Okay.
on this because you want the pro card. You see, this is a career for you, which I think is fantastic. The other thing that you said too, to dissect everything you're saying, because that's what I do. But you know, I think it's really old school of you to, from what I gather, to win your overall, go to the national stage based off that overall, win your card, and then take a year off. So what I get from that is that you want to grow into the pro physique, which is a very old school thing. But it's so much harder said than done. A lot of people can't take a full year. They can't even take a full month off during the season. So to take a full year off to do the business of bodybuilding, bring your physique up to that pro quality level, that's a pretty hard thing to do for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it is. You see a lot of the newer pros nowadays. I keep talking like I'm old, but
You're not. You're old school for sure.
It was like 2001 when I got into this, so it's been like almost 20-something years at this point. But yeah, I mean, to me, it just makes the most sense for me personally, and the reason being is because I have 15 pounds to grow when I turn pro. I literally have 15 pounds till I reach my cap, and 10 pounds on me is gonna look ginormous, right? So, and if I want to be competitive as a pro, it's one thing just to get my pro card for the prestige to say I got my pro card. It's another thing to say I want to be competitive as a pro. You've seen it more than me. You see how big the classic physique pros are. You see Terrence, you see all of them. You see the quality and the amount of muscle they bring to the stage. I'm not getting up there and embarrass myself, okay?
Right.
Like, I wanna eventually be put in some type of conversation at a smaller pro show to be able to be somewhat competitive. So with that being said, yes, I'm gonna take a year off and I'm gonna try to put on some quality size, mass with class. Because again, in my off seasons, I believe if you're going over 11% body fat, you're wasting your time. So I'm definitely going to really go hard this off season and reassess some things and try to see what I can do in the pro ranks within a year.
No, definitely, and I think that and Michelle said facts about what you were saying there. We got Jen Strobo in the house, legend. But the thing is that, you know, again, the competitiveness factor, I think there's a lot to be said about the competitiveness factor, because you're talking about, you know, your path to the national stage requiring an overall win. You want to go to the national stage, you want to be a strong presence, and you want to go to the pro stage, you want to be a strong presence. So I think it all kind of like revolves around this competitiveness, you know, which I think is really good. You know, and the other thing too, and I want to mention the African Lion just for a moment, because, you know, he's somebody who went and did a show last year. Sam Adiki went to Texas. There was 46 competitors, I believe, 43, 46 competitors. Sammy Gannon from Blackstone got the overall, and Sam got third. I think Sam could have been as high as second and battling for first. But, you know, he went down there, didn't know a soul. And guys from Togo, you know, new in America, fought for everything he's got, built a hell of a physique, goes to Texas of all places where nobody knows him. He takes top three, and, you know, first and second are terrified of him because they know he's there. He's a badass. Yeah. And so that's where I could see you doing the same exact thing, getting the pro card, but not just being one more pro, but being a pro that could win the damn show. I could see that.
Sam's an alien, man.
Yeah.
Sam, dude, I competed with him once at national. I want to say junior nationals in Chicago. I can't remember exactly where. That he's an alien, man. I have so much respect for his physique. I'm a fan of the sport before I'm anything, and he's got a phenomenal physique. Phenomenal.
Absolutely. No, he's fantastic. Sammy killed it too, and I have no idea who took second, but it was a really, really tough show. What does Jen Strobo says? Grounded and knowing where he needs to be. That's a huge maturity you don't see. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I think you're very grounded. I think you have your goals set. One thing that you did say, and I want to pick your brain about something that you just said very quickly a second ago about not going over 11% body fat. So talking off season, and I agree 100%. I think anybody would. 10 pounds on you, you're going to look like a different person. You know, you don't even have to go the full 15. I mean, we're talking 10 pounds of lean muscle mass that make anybody look like a different person. But I think especially with your physique, that's going to be a game changer. But Tyler Betson in the house. What's up, my man? But the thing is, what's your take on the dirty bulk? Because a lot of people will just blow up and then just crash diet down, and a lot of people don't think that's even worth the time.
Well, my personal opinion on that is I shy away from that, even if I was to have a client on that, because first of all, it should be structured, right? You should have structured cheat days, right? Because here's the thing: if you eat a whole bunch of shit at the beginning of the day, it's going to bog down your GI tract. You're not going to be able to get your macros in as far as your allotted amount of protein or carbs, because in theory it sounds good. Let me go to McDonald's and eat 10 double cheeseburgers, but then you probably won't eat in 4 or 5 hours, right? Versus let me get all my meals in first. Then let me see if I still have an appetite. I'll add a cheat meal in at the end of the day, right? I've been there, man. I've been the kid when I was 18, putting Pop-Tarts in the blender. I've done it all, right? I yielded my greatest benefit when I had more structure. I got my clean calories in first, and then I dirtied it up a little bit near the end of the day, because I am an ectomorph. I'm naturally an ectomorph, so it's hard for me to gain weight. So as far as just all-out dirty bulk, I don't think it's efficient. I think you put on a lot of fat, and that can really mess up your hormones, your hormonal balance. Your body plays hell trying to get back to homeostasis. And at the end of the day, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. You don't put on quality size. Then you have to work twice as hard to come back down for prep. And the scale is an illusion, because you see the scale going up, but it's fat, right? So that's why I always use the term mass with class, right? So that's just my rule of thumb for me and the people who I coach, is we try to, well, it's a little bit different for females, but for males, I like to say around, I don't like to see anybody get over 12%. But that's just my personal opinion.
Nice. Let me pick your brain on one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on peak week? Because, I talked to Vinny Galanti, IFBB Pro. He was on the road to pro for like 20 years. I mean, talk about a guy that, like always shy of the card by one placing. I mean, that's like that. I would rather, if it was me, Larry, I would rather be dead last than be one spot away from the pro card. But anyways, he's a big believer, like a lot of guys from the 70s and early 80s, that if you can like coast into the show, that there's no need for a peak week. But what's your take on that?
I'm right there with, I believe the word peak week is bullshit. It should be like landing the plane. You should just come into the show just like this. This is a sensitive topic for me right now, so I'm just gonna say that. But you should come into the show just like this. If you have to do anything extreme, here's the thing: you don't know how your body's gonna respond. Your body can have an adverse effect if you do something extreme at the end of prep. And have even this psychologically, when people hear the term peak week, it leads them to believe that you have to do something extra at the end. So therefore, just from a subconscious standpoint, I don't even like saying that word. You should already be ready anyway, right? Before peak week. It should literally be a slight descent into the show, right? And this is trial and error over the years of what I've learned as well. I think it's great for clickbait. I think it's great to get views on YouTube. I think it's appealing on IG to get more clients. But really, in all reality, peak week is bullshit. You should land the plane and not do anything extreme, not anything as crazy deviation from your day-to-day diet and prep thus far. So that's just my opinion on that.
Yeah, if you get a chance, you should. What does Jen say? You should be ready, show ready in a couple of weeks out. Yeah, but I feel like
100%.
Yeah, I feel like you should probably reach out to Vinny Galanti, because you guys think alike so much so. I mean, the way that he laid it out, and I have a clip out on YouTube and social media, but the way that he laid it out was peak week gives coaches something to do, something to sell, something to market. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting though, because
Shout out
people
to Sean.
dread it so
He said,
much.
"Don't get ready, be ready."
Right. Yeah.
It's
I
right.
mean, yeah.
100%.
People dread peak week so much that I think that there might even be like some sort of like cortisol, like chaos, just like the day before peak week starts. But why? Like if you don't have it before you get on stage, why would you have it before this like dreaded week that everybody fears?
It's a great marketing ploy, because I've seen a lot of clients go to coaches just to peak them. And you hear it, that's exactly how they say it. Like, can you just peak me? because they make it so extravagant on when their explanation of peak week that people feel compelled to go to them just to be peaked, and they'll charge them at the wazoo and take their money just to peak. It gets very convoluted. I love social media. I'm a big proponent in it. I love how bodybuilding is growing, but just with anything, it's in physics, right? So if the great part of it grows, the bullshit's going to grow as well. So you have to be able to know how to decipher the bullshit from the real, which is the reason why I tell people, get a coach, that's fine, but pay attention too, because it's important, it's imperative for you to learn your body as well, right?
Yeah.
Just don't be a machine and just pay somebody some money, because then you don't know what type of coach you're getting. You don't know where they're leading you. You don't know anything. So me, like when I first got into the game, I just started reading. I read about nutrition. I learned that. I read about, I had the Arnold Encyclopedia, old school. It's just pre-IG, pre-YouTube, pre-all that stuff. Yeah, I had a stack of Flex magazines. I'd go to T Nation. I'd go to forums.
Nation,
I
that's
was
so
just
hardcore,
hungry
yeah.
for resources. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now you just have so much convoluted stuff on social media that it's hard for some of these young kids to be able to decipher the real from the ill, So
Right. And what Tyler says, Tyler Betson, contest prep coach extraordinaire, says too many overcomplicating something doesn't need to be overcomplicated. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it's like,
I don't mean to cut you off. I guess I'll publicly announce something since Tyler keeps on commenting. So, I am working with Tyler Betson at this point in time. So, he's co-signed me, and our philosophies are so just packaged perfectly together. So that's the reason why he's co-signing, and I've learned a lot from working with him. Go ahead.
No, that's great. I mean, that's great. I mean, I think he's a heck of a great coach. There's a lot of great coaches in Kentucky. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. And I think that, he's always done well. His team has always been tight, always comes in tight, and I mean, I think personally, you're in a very interesting spot right now. I think you're almost at a crossroads, with this big win. And like I said, you've never looked better. You looked amazing. I think that credit due to where credit is owed and such. And we're kind of tiptoeing around something, I think, and so I don't want to jump into that. And I don't want,
I don't care.
But my thing is that, like, I really, really, truly think that with your mindset, like how you look at the sport, you could be a badass pro. I mean, like, you are so old school in your thought process and how you look at the sport. You could be very, very dangerous. You could be, I don't want to compare you, but you could be another Sam Badiki. You could even go beyond where Sam is at potentially. So, because I think a lot of it is mindset. I really do. And some people are small potatoes, or maybe their goals, like you said earlier, it's a bucket list thing. But if you really want this and you've got a physique to match, I mean, who the hell's going to stop you?
Yeah, it's been a dream of mine, but I mean, to be honest with you, as time goes on, and I did the whole corporate world thing, the business of bodybuilding, the older I get, is what intrigues me the most. So I envy, and I look at people like what Sean Ray did and what Jay Cutler did, and they're known, especially Jay Cutler, as the businessman of bodybuilding. To me, I feel like I want to insert myself in something like that, because I feel like I have the personality and the ambition for it, and being a voice and a pinnacle figure in bodybuilding, to say some things that maybe some people are not, are scared to say, and to say some things that need to be. And also, I think being a pro is more than just having a title and having a card. You're an ambassador of our sport. So where you go and how you act, that's what people are going to associate bodybuilding with. And if we want our sport to grow and to flourish, we have to recognize that when we're going out in public or we're acting a certain way, whether it be on social media or in person, I will be ambassadors of the sport. You know what I mean? So to me, I take that very seriously. And I've always been under the notion that you need to act like the position that you're trying to get. So that's why I carry myself the way that I carry myself, because even though I'm not yet a pro, I try to carry myself mentally as a professional. Because, you know, any chance that I get to talk to somebody about bodybuilding, I make a point to do that because I want this sport to grow, but I want it to grow the right way.
For sure. And the thing is, I mean, you know, even without the pro card, you have this big title that you won a couple days ago. And I noticed I don't actually say the name of the show because I think the promoter's like a little salty with me. But, you know, I think he did a great job as he always does. And this is a big, big title that you got. So in that, you can be a promoter, not a promoter. What am I saying? Maybe one day be a promoter too. Why not? But you can promote the sport through your title. This is a big title, and you know, Louisville's the biggest city in Kentucky. It's the biggest city in the region, and so I mean, winning that title is huge. And so from that point, I believe that you're an ambassador already. But I totally understand what you're saying about being a pro bodybuilder. And I think the last thing I'll say on that is how old school that way of thinking is as well, because a lot of people think that there's only one ambassador of bodybuilding, and that is the winner of the Olympia. That's not true. I mean, you know, it's just not that is small potatoes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all ambassadors of the sport to a certain degree, but when you become a professional, it's just that. I think the word pro card is being thrown around too loosely. And so what does that mean to be a pro? What does it mean to be a professional? Look at any other field when you're a professional, right? You have to carry yourself a certain way, right? Because you're representing either a company or an organization from a professional standpoint. So I think that sometimes, you know, especially in bodybuilding, we tend to lose sight of that. And we need to start carrying ourselves accordingly and understand that we shouldn't shun or make fun of the people who are amateurs, who might not be coming in condition, whose posing might be off. Let's help them, right? We want our sport to grow, right? So don't be talking about people on social media. No, inbox them. Like, hey, bro, if your posing is good, like, let me show you a few things, you know, put them on your back. You know what I mean? And I don't see enough of that. I see a lot of finger pointing. I see a lot of people calling people out, but I don't see that much camaraderie amongst people in our sport. And I want to be able to change that. And the best way to change it is be the change that you want to see. So I want to start with myself, and then hopefully I can inspire people to be able to have more, be more cohesive. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I got out of my chair. I never get out of my chair, but like, I really agree, because, you know, when you see a pro or you see an outlet, you know, put out a picture of somebody that's, you know, heavy, you know, like maybe with a stomach or whatever, you know, they make fun of that person to get some hits or whatnot. That's really messed up, because yeah, that person maybe didn't place, maybe they didn't win or whatever, but that person just lost 100 pounds. That person was supposed to be dead, and they're alive, and they're on a bodybuilding stage. So why make fun of them? That makes no sense. You know what I mean? It's just poor form. And then the other thing too, you know, anybody out there that sees this, because I'm going to chop this up into reels and stories, it's going to go all around. Anybody that thinks that Larry's full of shit, go to his Facebook and go to his YouTube, because he's talking about his relationships. And he's not talking about just the successful ones. He's talking about the ones that didn't work out. He's talking about a whole bunch of things that didn't work out, including shows. And so it's important, you know, we're not on here like on some soapbox preaching. Like, this is, you know, this is who you are. So I think that that's really cool. The only thing that I think that you need, and that Michelle needs, I think you need more haters personally, because I have plenty of them. I can give you some. But haters are the absolute best people there are, Larry, because
absolutely. I got a few over the past couple of days.
Oh, do you? Oh, that's good. Because the thing is, a real good hater is obsessed with you, and they will do everything possible to bring you down. But in the process, they bring you up. This is tried and true. It's tried and true. But I don't want to rile them up too much, because the old myths. I don't know if you remember the myths from bodybuilding.com, but they said don't feed the trolls. You got to feed them a little bit. You don't want them to die, but you don't want them to fat either. So
yeah.
So, what last thing? What would you like to say? And again, it's funny for me interviewing you in a way, because you're a content creator also. And I admitted to you at the beginning that I saw your video with Michelle about 20 times, like literally 20 times, if not more. But I really like it. I like the rapport that you both have. You know, Michelle's no bullshitter. You know, she's like off the cuff, says whatever she wants to say, and some people can't really deal with that, especially from a woman. I hate to be sexist, but I'm just observing. They can't deal with that, and she's addressed that before as well. So, but I like the rapport that you guys have. I think it translates really well, and it's almost like you're eavesdropping in a way, like a fly on the wall. kind of thing, because it's almost
That's
like the camera's not there. And
that's
I
the
think that's
best
great.
compliment you could have gave me.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I wanted to portray for sure. So
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. So, any parting words, my man? Any parting words?
Not really. Listen, I appreciate you having me on so much. If you haven't already, look me up on YouTube, Larry Hill. Type my name in, I will pop up. I will be starting a new series here in the next few days. Also, you can find me obviously on my IG, which should be up right now, but Larry_Hill87. I have started coaching again. I'm opening it up. Slots are filling up really quickly. So click the link. It should be in my bio, my email. Go to tkfitness1987 at gmail.com if you want to inquire on any type of coaching. And that's it, man. Just stay tuned, and I'm going to be pumping out a lot of content over the next couple of weeks.
Very cool, very cool. And guys, please, for Larry, Michelle, for me, for all content creators, please, it takes you like not even 5 seconds. Please like the damn thing,
Yes.
comment if you can, and please share. These are things, these are buttons that you click that take no effort at all and really make a huge difference for content creators. It gives us, you know, the inspiration. You know, nobody wants to talk to crickets, but I got to say, even like a podcast, they say the first 8 podcasts you're talking to yourself. But it's just so important, though, just to feel like some kind of reaction from the public. So please do that, guys. Please do that.
And before we go, I want to say, I can't believe I forgot. I don't want to be, I'll be remiss if I didn't bring this up. Part of me being successful as I am and my win was all due to my support system, my team. So shout out to Michelle Jackson as my best friend. I take a bullet for her. Shout outs to my girlfriend, Lindsay. She's been so instrumental the short time that we have been together. I would not be on stage if it was not for her. And listen, even people who I'm no longer with have come out the woodwork to help me because they believed in my dream so much. So I just want to let people know that bodybuilding might seem like a solo sport, but it's not. Your support system is everything. And sometimes it's people will see things in you that you don't see, and you will have strangers, you will have people you're no longer with, you will have everybody coming out to support you, but you just need to follow your passion and follow your dream, because I feel like we're only here for a short amount of time. Life is too short to be miserable. So make sure that you go and get anything that you dream about from when you're a kid, because all that bullshit that people say nowadays, that you need to grow up and go after your dreams, none of that, that's freaking bullshit, man. Go after yours. I'm a testament of it. I'm not done yet. And I'm going to keep going until I get to where I want to be.
Awesome, man. Perfect, perfect. I couldn't have said it better myself. And I want to thank you again for doing this. I really, really appreciate it. A big fan of yours and Michelle's, and I want to see a lot more content. And guys, again, please check out that project with Jim John the Yak coming out here, and everything that you're involved with. For Larry Hill, this is Christian Duke, StrengthAddicts.com. Thank you again.
Peace.
Peace.